Congratulations, Donald Trump. Your 35-day shutdown of the federal government was the longest in the history of our country.
I give President Trump a lot of credit. He put the American people before politics.
After 35 days?
No, he did.
For 35 days, though, what did he get?
Well, absolutely nothing but enormous economic pain and suffering. So, 35 days after Trump shut down the federal government, what is the first piece of legislation the Republican leader of the Senate introduced? Was it to provide back pay to 1.2 million mostly low-income federal contract workers? No. Was it to provide health care to the 30 million Americans who have no health insurance and to the 41 million who are underinsured? Are you kidding me? Was it to lower the outrageously high price of prescription drugs? No. Was it to raise the minimum wage to a living wage so that no one who works 40 hours a week lives in poverty? Of course not. Was it to address the crisis of climate change? Not even close. The first piece of legislation Mitch McConnell and the Republican leadership chose to introduce after the government shutdown was to repeal the estate tax for the 1,700 wealthiest families in America.
We want to have a talk about why we're repealing that. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Good, let's tell me.
Because ordinary people are paying more.
No, ordinary people do not have a wealth of $128 billion.
You can't make this stuff up. After passing a $1 trillion tax break for the top 1% and large corporations, the Republican leadership in the Senate thinks the major crisis facing America is that the richest people in America are not rich enough. The Trump tax giveaway to the rich gave Walmart a $2.2 billion permanent tax break each and every year. Not good enough. Under the Republican plan to repeal the estate tax, the Walton family, the owners of Walmart, would get a tax break of up to $63 billion. The Koch brothers received a $1 billion annual tax cut from the Trump tax plan. Not good enough. Repealing the estate tax would provide the family of the Koch brothers, a family that spent $400 million during the midterm elections to elect Republican candidates, with a tax break of up to $39 billion. The Mars Candy Bar family would get up to $27.8 billion, and the Cox Cable family would get a tax break of some $13.4 billion. Do you know how much over 99.8% of families in America would receive, including nearly every farmer, rancher, and small business owner in America? A big, fat zero. Not one penny. Why? Because the estate tax only applies to people who inherit over $11.4 million in wealth.
Why does a billionaire family get a $52 billion tax break?
Because
Please tell the American people.
Because we think it's wrong that real ordinary folks lose coverage. And we want to get rid of
Ordinary people. Is the Walton family an ordinary family?
And let's be clear, while the Republican leadership wants to provide massive tax breaks to the top 1%, they also want to make massive cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, education, and the environment.
The wealthiest family in America gets a $52 billion tax break as a result of the repeal of the estate tax.
That's correct.
Tell the American people why you think that's good when you cut Medicaid and you cut programs for kids.
In October, Senator McConnell said,
"It's driven by the three big entitlement programs that are very popular: Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid."
The entitlement issue that he is referring to is code for cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Let me tell you something. At a time of massive wealth and income inequality, the Koch brothers, the Walton family, and other multi-billionaires are not entitled to another huge tax break. Instead of repealing the estate tax, let's repeal the Trump tax breaks for the top 1% and substantially increase the estate tax on multimillionaires and billionaires. Let us create an economy that works for the many, not the few.